Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope all of you are fine and doing well. So, topic here we are going to discuss it is the contact process. So, the contact process is basically the process that is used for the production of the sulfuric acid. And here we have the formula for sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4. So, the basically sulfuric acid it was first prepared by the Muslim scientists, and the scientist's name was Jabir bin Hayyan, who is also known as the second father of chemistry. So his name was Jabir bin Hayyan. It was done in 8th century and it was almost in Europe and the centuries was between 14th to 15th, and its preparation on commercial level was also started due to its awareness and properties and its uses. And when it just started, it is called as the oil of vitriol. Its name was oil of vitriol, and it does not occur as such as in nature. So, the very small quantity of H2SO4 are found in the waters of some springs as well as in some rivers. So after this, the sulfuric acid was started to prepared by the process which is called as the contact process. This method was basically developed by the scientist who was in Germany and he was in Nitesh. Basically, it involves the catalytical combination. Catalytical combination, the process in which we use the catalyst. And the catalyst, it is a substance that is used to increase the rate of chemical reaction, and it was the catalytical combination of sulfur and oxygen to form the sulfur dioxide, and which is then dissolved in the water and produces the sulfuric acid. Now this was a simple overview about the contact process. After this we have the principle of the process, that on what basis that process can be used for the preparation of the sulfuric acid. So in the first step, sulfur dioxide it was basically obtained by burning sulfur or iron pyrides, that is oxidized to sulfur trioxide. As we talk about iron pyrides, its formula is FeS2. By burning it, we contain or we gain sulfur dioxide and then sulfur trioxide. It was done in the presence of the catalyst, which is vanadium oxide V2O5, which acts as a catalyst. So this was the basically first step on which it works. Now when we gain sulfur trioxide, it is formed, then it is absorbed in concentrated sulfuric acid and the oleum. Here we have oleum, its formula is H2S2O7. H2S2O7. When it is formed, can be converted into sulfuric acid easily by the mixing adequate quantities of the water in it. So this is a simple principle on which we can gain the sulfuric acid, and after this process which is called as contact process, it includes a lot of steps. So these are the main steps in the production of the sulfuric acid. The first step is the sulfur burners, in which sulfur or the iron pyrides are basically burnt in the excess of the air to produce the sulfur dioxide. If I just write its chemical formula or equation, when sulfur it is burned in the presence of oxygen and we gain sulfur dioxide. So this is the first step, and the second step is the iron sulfide or iron pyrite. It is burned in the excess of oxygen and we gain iron oxide plus we gain sulfur dioxide. When we gain this sulfur dioxide, now the next step or the second step is purifying unit, which contain basically a lot of steps. The first one step is the dust remover. In the purifying unit, the SO2 that is prepared in the first step, it is purified from the impurities, and the impurities like we have dust, if it contains some arsenic oxides, so we have to remove all that. The first step is dust remover. Basically, the steam is used in this process. It is injected to remove all the dust particles from the gases. And then the second is cooling the pipes. Basically, the steam is very hot, so now we have to cool the pipes. So the gases are passed through the lead pipes. The pipes are made up of lead pipes, then it is just cooled down to temperature which is 100 degree Celsius. Then the third one step is the scrubbers. All the cool gas that we gain in the second step, they are washed, and they are washed by the spray of water. So that's why the sulfur dioxide that is prepared in the first step, it is not soluble in the water at high temperature. So this is the third step for the purifying unit. And after this we have the drying tower. Now what does happen in the drying tower? In this tower, the moisture of the gases is removed by the use of the sulfuric acid. It is just trickled down through the field of the tower, that is containing coke filled tower. When the sulfuric acid trickled down from the top, then all the gases just dried out, as sulfuric acid is basically used to remove the water or to remove the moisture. Then the fifth step of the purifying unit is the arsenic purifier. If that mixture contain arsenic oxide, then how we can be able to remove? In this unit, it is being removed by passing all these gases through the specific chamber that is provided by the shelves packed with the freshly prepared ferric hydroxide. So by the use of the ferric hydroxide, arsenic oxide is being removed from that mixture. The last one unit for the purifying unit is testing box. In this box, basically a beam of light is introduced. Here we use a beam of light, and what do this beam of light is going to be done with this process? It is introduced which indicates all the presence or absence of these solid particles, and if it is present in the gases, then they are again sent back to this purifying tower for the further removal of all these particles. Now, after passing out from the purifying unit, here we have the basic contact tower or the contact process, which is the main process. Now, all the preheated gases that at 400 to 500 degrees Celsius temperature, they are passed through the vertical iron columns that contain the catalyst vanadium oxide V2O5, and here SO2 is oxidized to SO3. So the chemical reaction is SO2. When it reacts with the oxygen, the temperature is 400 to 500 degrees Celsius in the presence of the catalyst, which is V2O5 vanadium pentoxide. Sulfur trioxide is prepared, and this process is basically exothermic. The heat is minus 269.3 kilojoule per mole is evolved. Now this reaction is highly exothermic, so no heating is required once the reaction is started. So that temperature is just required to start the reaction, but once it started, now there is no requirement for the heat. Now the last one is the absorption tower or the absorption unit, in which the sulfur trioxide obtained from the contact tower is dissolved in 98% of the sulfuric acid to form the pyrosulfuric acid, which is called as oleum. Its formula is H2S2O7, and now it is then diluted with the water to get the required concentration of the sulfuric acid. Here we have H2SO4, It is being mixed with the sulfur trioxide, and we gain here the product which is called as oleum. Now this oleum reacts with the water and changes into the sulfuric acid, that is our required product. Now here we have the flow sheet diagram for all that process, in which the first molten sulfur is introduced into it. This is the burner. Now this is the basically dust remover tower, and after this it is just cool down in this process. Now here we have the water and the add it reacts with the concentration or the concentrated H2SO4. Then we have a arsenic purifier, in which the arsenic is removed by the use of the ferric hydroxide. This is the testing box in which the beam of light is passed out to remove. And here in this chamber, which is a contact chamber, contain the catalyst, and the whole process is being done. And at the end, this is the absorption tower in which the sulfuric acid is being prepared. So this was all about today's lecture. I hope you guys understand. If you have any queries, you may ask me about that in the comment section. The next topic that we will discuss it is the physical and chemical properties of H2SO4. For that time, you guys keep learning and have a good day.